actually get better views. You're going to have a better quality of life. So that's kind of how I like to think of things. If I am only around people who think the same as me, then I'm not challenged to widen who I am and be better every day. So that's something I keep close to my heart. When I feel, sometimes that's intimidating, it's hard to live that way. When I feel intimidated by that, I always remind myself that it's way better to live in the ocean than a murky pond. Couple things I'm going to ask today is I'm going to ask you to open your mind. I'm going to ask you to be vulnerable, which is really hard, and leave the truths that you've learned about your industry or that you've learned and that you hold, like we hold our truths, things that have been cemented in our life, very close to us. So I'm going to ask you to just set those on the table and come back to them maybe later if you still want to hold on to those. What hasn't worked in the past, or maybe what has worked in the past, maybe just set those aside. So a couple questions, if you guys want to be vulnerable, we'll try this out. What are some of the truths about your employees, your employer maybe, your subcontractors, or even your strategic partners that you have either been challenged by or they're constantly coming up? Either it's really, really good, and so you'll never look at another way, or it's a constant challenge within your business or within your lifestyle. Does anyone have any that they would like to be vulnerable and share?
What are you looking at me for?
What about something like, assuming maybe older people for old school?
Mm-hmm.
Some of us are millennials in here.
Yeah.
So assuming just from the physical appearances, the way you think and what you believe.
Absolutely, that's a great example.
Fear of change, actually, at all levels, and with people who may be a little more comfortable with change, leading a different path and then trying to figure out how to bring others along with you.
Absolutely, absolutely. And in our industry, does anyone else have anything? Okay, well, if you think of something, just raise your hand. This is totally interactive. So one thing that I found when I stepped into the carpet cleaning company was there was a lot of those in the construction industry. So a little bit about my brain condition and how I even got to be with Champion was I went to school to be a teacher. I opened a daycare because I was really sick of how you would go into a classroom and if the child was falling behind, then we just passed them, because in certain grades you don't get school money as a school if you don't pass the child through. So I said no more. We're going to start a program that actually allows us to build into the kids before they go to kindergarten to actually get what they need, so that they're not falling behind for years at a time, because we're failing our students. And then in 2013 I was diagnosed with Chiari. My brain was falling out of my head. I lost my eyesight. I didn't have mobility. I couldn't get out of bed for hours in the morning. And so when I was diagnosed, it was okay for a little while, but then I was diagnosed with a second condition, and it was a cyst in my spinal cord. So I had two options. I could live with that for the rest of my life and have that quality of life, or I could try a surgery that only gave me a 30% chance of living, and if I lived, I only had a 30% chance that it would work. So my life was turned upside down. I had to sell my business and pretty much start from scratch. One night I was sitting, we decided to go the route of surgery. I was sitting writing letters to my kids on all their big days and just reflecting on what would I want to say to them when they're getting married, when they're graduating from high school. And something funny happened. I decided that I wasn't going to spend my last days thinking about how much time I had left. I was going to spend my last days making sure that I made sure that the world around me actually was healing. So I shifted my view and my focus off of healing myself to healing the world around me. And a crazy thing happened. I started to heal. So today I don't have the brain condition that I was diagnosed with. My brain has actually moved up by itself. It is all on its own. The greatest day of my life was when the doctors did an MRI and they said, I don't know what you did, but you did it. Because I was like, there's got to be a better way. We had a baby, and I was going to have to relearn how to walk and talk again, even if I was to get through the surgery. So that changed everything. A little bit after that, we were down to one income. So I decided, okay, we got to make this count. What can I do within the carpet cleaning company that could really elevate the community around us? How can I elevate that? So many lies in the construction industry. When you look at employees, any employees that we bring in, they're only for a season. They're good for a little while, and then they self-destruct. There's so many predetermined truths about our employees and about the way that the construction industry works with their employees, with their community. And so I started to look at that and say, what can we learn from this situation? What can we do to actually empower employees to take control of their own lives and have a better income in the background? So we started to just dissect that, and it goes into everything that the construction industry says is true. Most people say, hang it at the door, I don't want to deal with it. Please, don't bring it to work. We say bring it to work. We're your team. We see you more than even your family sometimes. Why are we not using each other to empower? So a few things that I decided, one of my biggest things is I don't do business B2B or B2C. I do business human to human. That is one of my biggest things. Once you take that expectation, whether it's your employees or the people you're networking with, anything, any relationship that you're encountering, take the price tag off their forehead and see what you can actually do for the soul. Once you actually take that price tag off their forehead or that expectation of who they are and why they're in your company, it changes everything. It changes everything and nothing at the same time. So here's a few actual items that I am going to give you to engage, empower, and equip the people around you. So a few questions. I always say that if we're in, I think it's Tony Robbins that says it too, if you're not getting the result you want, you're not asking the right questions. So how do you engage your employees? You be engaged. Ask yourself this year, it's a new year, are you engaged? What are you engaged in? Do you remember why you started your company? I mean, when I first walked into Champion, I don't think after 27 years, you remember why you started a carpet cleaning company. It just so much hits you. Think about 5 years of business. How many things have hit you even within 5 years? But when you look at it, how do we keep ourselves engaged? We don't wake up and say, oh my gosh, today is a new day. It's not normal. We wake up and we say, oh, another day. It's Monday. I mean, you look at the memes on Facebook and there's so much on there about why Mondays suck and all the problems. We're always complaining about what we don't have instead of being thankful and taking charge of what we do have. So if you're not engaged, your employees aren't going to be engaged. The people around you are not going to be engaged. So how do you keep yourself engaged? What are some small things that you can do to add to your life? My business coach, we do this thing where we all have a theme song. And I should have put it on when we were waiting for music. But we all have a theme song. That's something that we just do. So in the car, I was listening to my theme song. I'm not super comfortable speaking. I don't know if you ever get totally comfortable speaking, but it's just something that empowers you and engages you to what you're about to do. And it just gets you out of your head, focusing on, oh my gosh, what am I going to forget to say? Or whatever it is, it really gets you out of there. And then this last month, we decided we were going to pick something that we put on. So before you're going into a meeting, or if you're just wake up and you feel cruddy, what do you put on in the morning? Is it a smell? What is it that really gets you engaged back in your life, remembering why you're here or what you're doing this for? So the next question I always ask is, do you truly know what's authentic to you? When you're thinking about your business, is your business a reflection of you, or is it something that you just do? Do you wake up and are you intentional about who you're engaging with within your business? From your employees to your strategic partners, even your subcontractors. Does anyone work with subcontractors here? Okay, so subcontractors are an extension of who you are. And I think there's this pre-deceived concept that we don't get to tell them what they do. We don't get to really have so much of who they are and what they're doing, especially in the construction industry. But we do. They're an extension. They're seeing your employees. They're seeing your clients. They're in our community. So we have to be intentional about who we're hiring. Subcontractors are probably the least impacted by the businesses that they are actually working for. They're getting a paycheck. You're actually feeding into their lives. And we're not intentional about it at all. So ask yourself, what's authentic to you? Are you working with people who match who you are? Are you working with people who actually are an extension of what you want to bring to the world? Does your team match that? Are you super professional? That's something I struggled with big time in the carpet cleaning industry. I intimidate the hell out of these 20-year-old guys that have never had a job. We literally had our staffing agency say, you need to tone it down. And I'm like, what does that even mean? Like, I don't understand this. But I had to go back, and that was uncomfortable for me. I had to go back and look, what am I doing that's intimidating them, that's not making them, that's not how I want to come off. So I had to really look within and say, what is it that is not authentic that I'm coming off? Is this who we need to be hiring? Or is it something that I need to look within and say, is there something I can learn from this situation? What are you motivated by? Have you asked your team what you're motivated by? I see businesses all the time throwing money, especially in this time where we're so busy and we have so many people moving here. We can't keep up with the construction world. But I have people that are throwing money at their employees, throwing bonuses. So we've done it. We've made the mistakes. There was a time that I sat down with 2 of my employees and I said, okay, we're doing a bonus. We do all kinds of bonuses and challenges. And I said, would you rather have the $20 gift card or the $15 gift card to Chipotle or a $20 bill? What do you think they picked? Gift card.
Yeah, Chipotle.
Really?
Gift card. $5 more. They could have went to Chipotle and actually got the same thing, but they chose $5 less with the gift card. So that there was so many things that I've done to actually dig in and say, why? Well, that demographic has never been able to trust themselves, much less anyone around them. So when you look at that, what is it? Is it that they can't trust their judgments? What are they going to do with the $20? That's a question. That's where I started to look at it. What are they going to do with the $20? They're actually making a bad decision. And I had the ability to actually impact their life by saying, what is it that actually changes that? How can we change their mindset to say, $20 is more and I can trust myself. I can trust the world around me to not be toxic. So that's just one small thing that we've done. And it's just tests. Like literally one time I came into one of our meetings and I threw my book at the wall and I said, I don't know what's working. I don't know what works. So why don't you guys tell me? Because I'm failing all over the place. So can you guys please speak up? I'm authentic with you. I'm vulnerable with you. What can we do to change these? Here's our challenges. I'm by myself here. You guys aren't giving me any feedback. And at that moment, they saw that I needed them. So what are you doing to need your employees? It's not just they need you. You're writing their paycheck, but you have an impact on their lives that's greater than anyone else. Have you asked them what ways they are loved? Have you asked them how they engage? Have you asked them what's important? Sometimes I think we don't ask the questions and then we're mad about the results. So what can we do to ask bigger questions? What can we do if you're not getting business from a networking group? Have you asked the members why? Have you asked what you can do to better support them? Because that's what we've done in our businesses. We've stopped what we were doing because we had, in the construction industry, you have turnover all the stinking time. And with millennials, you have turnover all the stinking time. It's not about break rooms and beanbags. I can promise you that. That's not what empowers the millennial. It's bigger, better things. I see all the time. I was looking up statistics a couple months ago, 31% of millennials will see their value in money in their workplace. 71% of Gen X see their value in money in the workplace. 52% of baby boomers see their money in the workplace. Millennials are not the only one that don't find all their value in money. So what is it that we're finding value in? What is it that makes a life fulfilled? 64% of all people who left their jobs from 2014 to 2016 were due to a similar industry, was due to the amount they were making. But yet when you ask someone, why did you do that? And they said, oh, it was a better opportunity. Do we ever stop to say, what does that mean? We always go to the price tag. Always. We always go to the price tag. And that's how we've been brainwashed. It's all about the money. And it was actually, when I started researching all of the generations, it was actually the Gen Xers that really made that prominent within the workplace. And it's not always true. They are most motivated by money, but it's still not 100% of their quality of life is definitely important to them too. Let's see. Do you give them the chance to let it all hang out? Like the good, the bad, and the ugly. There's so many conversations that I did not want to have with my employees. I don't want to know that they spend their money on smoking pot on the weekends. I don't want to know that they got a DUI. But do you let it all hang out? Because I've made some really dumb decisions in my life. I was a teen mom. I've made some really dumb decisions. But if I don't let my stuff hang out, they don't have the room or the space to let their stuff hang out. And it's really important, if you want people to stay within your circle, that you're vulnerable. We try, especially as business owners and professionals, we try to hide it all. We put on our makeup and we make it all look good, but it's not. When you ask someone, I force myself to stop saying that I'm busy. How are you? Good. Busy. That's always. That's always what I hear, and it's no, really, how are you? Do we ever actually answer that question? Maybe in a small group, but not in a business place. What would it do to your business if you actually let it all hang out? It's ugly. Are people gonna leave if you're authentic? Have you asked yourself, are people gonna leave me if I'm authentic? Some of them will. I will never ask my team to do something that I won't do. I have been in basements ripping out carpet in floodwaters that are from sewage. I will never ask my team to do something I won't do. I will never do cold calls. I do not have my team do cold calls. Maybe that works for you. Find a team that works for them. Some people love doing cold calls. That's not my thing. So I wouldn't ask my team to do it. Now, if someone came to me and said, I really love doing cold calls, I think it could help my business, your business grow, our business grow. Can I do that? I'd say absolutely. If that's your unique contribution to this position, absolutely. Let's do it. So that's engage. That's some of the ways I engage our employees and the people around me. Empower. Are you on fire? I met a man, amazing man, that owns the Grant Street Mansion, and his goal is to have 100 businesses in 5 years. Now, if we were setting goals in that type of way, what would it look like? And I was kind of taken back, to be honest. I'm like, why? Why would you want 100 businesses in 5 years? And he said, because I want to take over cities. And when you walk into, do it sometime, just go and see if you can take a tour down there. You walk in, the janitor stopped what he was doing and asked us what he could help us with. And we were just sitting there. It wasn't like we needed anything. He got us water. The culture of that company enthralled me. I love seeing that kind of stuff. But if we're truly on fire, what would our business and our life and the people around us do? If we're on fire, sometimes I find myself, has anyone taken the Enneagram test? Okay, so Enneagram, there's a bunch of different personalities. I am an enthusiast challenger. So what that means is I enthusiastically challenge the people around me. I just find myself hiding my enthusiasm sometimes. It's almost not good to be enthusiastic, I find, in some ways. So what is your unique contribution to your business? What makes you on fire? Do your employees know that? Do the people around you know that? You set the tempo. If you were at a party, who would you be? Think about that. If you were at a party, who would you be? Would you be the person at the grill? Would you be the person jumping into the pool? Who would your employees be? Have you ever thought to ask them? You set the tempo. What are you dancing to? If you love to do crazy things, but you work with financial advisors that really, really get stuck in numbers, I don't know if maybe a few of those people should be on your team, but you should not have a team full of very analytical people. It just doesn't, it's not authentic to you. Empowerment is done through energy. Money is not energy, or money is energy. What do you invest in your employees to empower them? So one of the things that we do is we serve together. We take our whole team down, we do the food bank, we do Hope House, we go and we serve as a team. I will tell you, we have invested, I forget my team's here, we have invested so much into our team. We have done jet skis and boat rides and I mean just all kinds of stuff. We've done escape rooms, which I love, but nothing touches it like serving together. As a networking group, we've served together. Nothing brought us together, I don't feel, that as much as that did. It just changes everything. You take yourself and your focus off of what you need in your business and how you're gonna get there and the strategic plans to do it, and just get back to the basics. It's just a simple shift. That's 100% why I say that. If I'm stuck somewhere, what's the shift? I ask that all the time. Do you like your culture? Do you walk in your business and you feel like I did when I went down to Grant Street Mansion? Do you love your culture? Have you ever thought about how you can change your culture? I did. I hit my head against the wall. Going into Champion, I'm like, I don't know how to get these guys. I've never been a 20-year-old guy. I don't know what that means. Do you love your culture? My culture breathes what I stand for, even though my employees are completely different than me. But it takes time. It takes time and it takes dedication to actually continually be being authentic and just persistent on not giving up to what you need to do. What truly matters at the core, if you were to die in 3 months, I went through this. Think about it. If you were to die in 3 months and your business and your community was going to be fully impacted and empowered by your time, energy, relationships, what would you do with your time? I had a I'm so thankful for the chance to go through something like I went through, because it opened my eyes to what we're wasting. Life is a gift. What are we doing to change the world around us? We have an impact. I promise, we empower people so much. We have so much power behind Facebook, behind all kinds of things that we do. What are we doing to actually add value to others' lives? Do you know what your unique contribution is? Do you know what you carry? Do you know what's unique to you? Is it posted everywhere? Because it should be. If I don't know what you carry and I don't know what empowers you, I can't follow you. And that's how our employees feel. That's how the people in our schools feel. It's so important to know what you carry as a business owner and someone who's in leadership. I don't care if you're a teacher or even a student leading a small group. You need to know why you're here and why you're doing it. It's so important. If not, you're hiding your gifts. You're hiding your gifts under a rock and they're going to waste. Does your everyday works show exactly what you want them to show? Are you spending your time where you want your works to show? So are you getting the return on what you're doing in the way you want to? I protest insanity. Insanity is the definition of doing the same thing over and over and over, expecting a different result. Are you actually getting the results you want? If not, why? Do you offer the space for your employees to fail and to shine? That's a really hard question, because I'm gonna tell you, it's really crappy when I get the phone call that my employee has just really screwed up a job. We're not perfect. There's no perfect here. Are you going to support your employee through that mistake and show them what they could have done better? Or are you going to look at it as a disaster and nothing's ever gonna be the same? Let them go. I mean, corporate world, you make a mistake, the right mistake, you're done. I don't want my employees to live in fear. I don't want my employees to have to come to work and say, you know what, I can't fail. I have to do this. This is the expectation, and there is no subpar. No, I've made a lot of mistakes, and I've learned the most within my mistakes. Katie Myers just came out with a book, The Fortune is in the Failure, and I truly believe that. Phenomenal book. If you guys haven't read it, phenomenal. Everything we learn is through our pain. I love the song Believer that just came out, because everything we learn, everything that sets us on fire is through our pain. Why are you in your business? Chances are it's probably because you've had an issue where you fell off a roof, or you had a construction nightmare and you just developed an amazing product because you had pain in that area. So where's your pain? Look at that. Do you have patience to walk through the good, the bad, and the ugly with your employees? It's really, really hard, like I said. As you probably know, it's really hard to walk through that with them. It's hard to have the time. I'm doing marketing and forecasting, and I have 3 kids. Do I have time to stop and walk through whatever just happened? Or we had an employee that got kicked out of our house on Christmas Day. Was I gonna take the time away from my family and go help that employee? That's a hard decision, because I really value my kids. If you don't have the bandwidth to take care of all that, have someone partner with you. What nonprofits, plan for those disasters, because they will happen. I can promise you that. Do you know how to celebrate your employees? Sometimes I think we spend so much time and effort on celebrating, on bonuses, like I said, when they don't match our employees at all. Like, I could do a lot of things, but it doesn't always reflect on what is important to them. Do you know their love language? I could be giving gifts to my employees, and maybe that's not their love language. That's the thing that is so hard about corporate America, because we're all just an ant. But in small businesses, we have an opportunity of a lifetime. We get to do those small things. We get to ask those big questions, and we get to be unique to our employees. Okay, equipped. Train, train, train. The biggest downfall and the hardest part of anything I've ever done within our business is train. I don't know how to clean carpets, I'll be honest. I'm not the best carpet cleaner. How do I train a team that cleans carpets? How do I train a team that I don't know what I'm doing? How do I do that? Few things that the best thing that I did, Dave with All Pro Web Tools told me, we were just collaborating. He told me, have your new employees write your manuals and then go back and read them. And I was like, oh my gosh, that's ingenious. I don't know what I'm doing, and I could write a manual, but the new employees coming in aren't gonna understand it. It's gonna be different language, so if you have your new employees write your manuals, they'll understand it faster, and then you can build on with the verbiage and that kind of thing. So I have our new employees write our manuals. I actually have them go through, most of the time, unless it's totally not their ball game, I have them actually go through and write, what did you do today? What did it look like? Break it down for me. What does that look like? And then I go back through and with a comb, and I look at it and say, what can we add to our processes? What does that look like? Huh, that's a really good idea. I didn't realize that you did that. I didn't realize you needed a bungee cord to hold the door back. There's things in our business that are so stupid, but it's the little things. It's the small things that make a huge difference. And what value? I had my employees, they hated me. They hated this so bad. And they fought it a little bit, but I had them make a list, each one of them make a list of 100 value adds that they could do daily within their life and within our business. It changed everything. It was a ton of things that I never even thought of? Do you equip them to be the rock star that you're expecting within your business? Do you give them the freedom to make the big decisions? Do you give them the freedom again to fail? Do you give them the freedom to say, you know what, I think instead of thank you bags, we should do the drawstring bags. Like, we do thank you bags to all of our clients. And they hated them, and I didn't understand why. It's just a gift. Why is it so hard to give a gift? It looks really funny when a man has a gift bag this size. It's really uncomfortable to hand that over. I'm like, oh, so a backpack with drawstrings, small shift, didn't cost us any more, added so much value to our clients and our employees. So do you give them the freedom to tell you the tools that they need to be equipped with? Communication. Do you understand how your employees communicate? We are all, being a teacher, we are all different. We learn differently. We receive and give information differently. Do you understand? I always say, any employees or really anyone you're going to be a strategic partnership, understand them. I don't care what personality test you use. I love personality tests. It does not put them in a box. Do not put them in a box. But it helps you understand how they process. I'm an after the fact processor. If you dump a bunch of information on me, expect me to run, that might work, but I need to kind of fumble through it a little bit and understand where I stand with it. Do you actually know what they're going to do with that information? And does it match who you are? I have a really hard time with individualists. They're very analytical. They're very, they're almost shut off in a certain way. I don't relate to that. My husband does. So do you have someone in your team that's different enough from you that can match those skills? Do you equip them with the vision that you have for your company? Do you equip, when you're networking, do you equip the people that you're trusting to be your sales team to actually forecast your vision and put that off to the world? Because our vision is everything. People don't buy products, they buy people. They buy the emotion behind the products. Do you offer opportunities and programs to add personal development to your teams? At Revenue Tribe, that's what we do. We offer all kinds of different ways that you can actually understand what their unique contribution is. Do you understand what makes them tick? Do you understand what they carry? Why are they here? How did they get here? What pain did they go through? You don't need to know it all, but do you have tools that can help them actually be the best that they can be? Do you offer an outlet to get them out of their head and back into their heart? And that just goes back to community. What are you doing within the community? What are they invested in? I have employees that could care less about dogs. I love dogs. Are we only serving at the places that help dogs? No. Does that match your employees? Are they invested in what you're serving in? Are they invested in what you stand for? Is there an opportunity to grow their influence in the community? Do they get a voice in it? That is huge. If a millennial feels like they have a voice, they will never leave your company. If they feel empowered, that they have a voice behind what you stand for and it aligns, you will have the best employee you will ever find. Ashley is a perfect example of that. Ashley is my personal assistant and best friend now. I mean, it's amazing to see. She transitioned from our nanny to an office admin. That's a huge jump. That is not a small shift. What could we do? It wasn't an easy shift. What could we do to actually empower her to do really well in that position? It was completely, she's managed people, but she's never done admin. What steps was I going to take to actually help her excel in her new position, have confidence, and know that she's not going to get it the first day she comes on the job? It's okay. We all have to learn. We all need to be the dumbest person in the room. Miss Ashley?
I wouldn't be where I am today without you, so thank you. I'm thankful for every opportunity you've given me. So.
Well, thank So tools. Some of the tools are really tactical stuff. Interview questions. Are interviews hard for you? They were hard for me. What questions are you asking in your interviews? Are they the same ones that are off of Indeed that are really boring and they're expecting to answer? Some of the questions I ask are, what was one time you remember feeling like you belonged and you were created for whatever you were doing? A 20-year-old guy looks at me with a blank stare and can't answer that. So I ask these questions, I come back to him, and then I mark down the ones that they didn't answer and I send them to him. When you get some time, will you please think about these and get back to me? And then I expect it within the first week of employment. If you could change one issue in everyday America, what would it be? Our best employee we've hired this year said, no more car problems. And I was like, yes, I totally align with that. We run units every day, of course. That's amazing, you're hired. Like, I just knew this kid was, and he's got green hair and big gauges in his ears. Do we make him look professional? Absolutely. Does he pull in the spunky side of my personality? Absolutely. I love that. He lives fulfilled. It aligns perfectly. Does he look like me, talk like me? Absolutely not. Complete opposite. When's the last time you felt 100% connected? Have we asked ourselves that? When's the last time you were standing in a room? Sometimes I feel like I'm standing in a room of 100 people and I'm completely disconnected. So when's the last time they felt connected? What is one experience that has contributed to who you are today? What does pain mean to you? Those are just a few. Like, I have hundreds of questions that we roll through. So if you want those, I can send those to you. A few things. Who does your hiring? I don't do our first hiring processes. It's way too much work for me. I don't have time for it. We use a couple companies. Express Employment is one of my favorite. And then Darla, what is her company name?
Diversified Personnel.
What is it?
Diversified Personnel.
Diversified Personnel. She's fantastic. She totally finds who matches up with our company. It's phenomenal. And she's not corporate. Again, I don't breathe corporate. I don't want to breathe corporate. I want the small business stuff. And then, are you taking care of your employees? I have found many contractors that don't pay their people on time. Pay your people. Find a payroll company. That is one of my #1 tips. Do not ever do payroll by yourself. It is a lot of work, and I don't mess around with money. If there has something to do with the IRS, no thank you. Someone who is specialist in that can do that for me. And we use Altitude Payroll, and we've went through 3, I think, since we've been with Champion, and they're my favorite for sure. Do you do reviews? Do you take the time to review your employees? Someone told me one time that I'm wasting my time because I do them quarterly. I sit down with my employees every single quarter, and not just me. It's multiple people within the company. What do we have to learn from each other? What's going good? What sucks? What is terrible in our lives today? What can we learn from each other? And do you do exit interviews? If you're not doing exit interviews, even if it's with a strategic partnership that you've been networking with, and all of a sudden they don't want to work with you anymore, or it's just not aligning, why? Do we ask? They're uncomfortable questions. Are you vulnerable enough to get that answer? What can we do to get those answers? Because they will change your life completely. You will see stuff that you don't want to see within yourself, but it will grow you more than anything else. It's painful. And at the end of the day, we're all one conversation away from our lives being changed. Words are important. How are you going to use your next ones to engage, empower, and equip the world around you? That's all I have for you guys today. Thank you. Does anyone have any questions?
What's your turnover rate?
We went from having about a 30% turnover rate to a 45% turnover rate. So most of our employees have been there between 12 and 4 years. So it's actually unheard of for the industry. Like, we don't get those. And sometimes it's just not a good fit.
For your training, how do you evaluate how people do want to learn? and
So,
communicate?
with Revenue Tribe, that's how we do it. So there's a workshop through Revenue Tribe, which we're partnered with very closely, and I will post the link on Facebook Live. But it's a very deep. We've had many people. I mean, I have a friend that owns a construction business that has had an admin there for 12 years, and she put her through the workshop and she quit. It was the best thing that ever happened because it wasn't her unique contribution. It just wasn't. That's not what she carried. It's not where she was supposed to be. We put 200 agents through Keller Williams through it, and it was a good amount of them that quit within the first 30 days. But I would rather want to know. I want to know if I have the right person. Why? I don't want them to just get a paycheck. You know, that's not. So that's one of our biggest tools, and then just different learning assessments. So there's a lot of learning assessments. Enneagram does have a portion that says that how you receive information, what you look like when you're in a good space, and what you look like when you're in a bad space. So those are my two favorite probably. And there's many tests online. I think the bank assessment, so I think it's a bank code assessment. That one is really good too. I love that one too. And it's simple, it's just cards that you do, so it's pretty fun. Any other questions? Awesome.
All right,
Thank
let's
you
give
guys.
Christine a round of applause up here. And before you sit down, or maybe stand up again, we're going to go through the allies, but how do we interact with you going forward? Everything will be on Facebook Live. You'll put the slides up on there, but if people want to continue this with you, what do they do?
So you guys can get more information. You can email me at revenuetribe.com. And if you want more information about just how we've done it through Champion Carpets, you can go to our website, and there's a box there that you can fill out, championcarpetcolorado.com.
Perfect. And if you're in the room, not you guys, you can talk to her afterwards too. So we're going to go around the room for the allies. Linda, what can we do to interact with you and help you get your business off the ground?
Well, you can talk to me while you're here. I can hand out some business cards, or you can find me on Facebook.
All right. Carol, how do we interact with DaVinci?
DaVinci, the biggest need we have right now, and here's some little cards. We're a co-working, we rent office space month to month, and we're now doing a referral. You know, we'll give you a nice little bonus.
Okay, refer for cash. I like that program.
There you go. So
All right.
see me if you'd like to know
Ben,
more.
jump in front of the camera. How do we interact with you?
Well, you just call me.
All right. All right, that's easy enough. And for me, I have one business card left, so somebody in the room can have that. Otherwise, give me your card and I can follow up with you guys and have you down at my office for coffee or whatever like that. So now we're going to go around the room. So you have your action forms in front of you. You filled them out completely. Looking at all the people avoiding the eye contact now. But we're going to go around the room. Again, just because you're going to be on Facebook, so you get a lot of marketing here. But your name, your company name, and the one thing you're going to take from Christine's presentation and take action on today or this week. So we will go reverse order, and I will start. You're staring at me.
I know.
I was trying to look for somebody else, but you're
That's
right
right.
here. So and make sure you address the camera too.
Okay, great.
And then we'll be kind of coming around.
Okay, great. Hi, I'm Jen Olson. My company is Develop Solutions, and I think the number one thing I took from today was how to ask really great questions to engage your employees at a different level. Thanks.
Hi, my name is Janice Brendan. I'm an author and a speaker. I'm a transition strategist. I help people who are going through career transitions, and the one thing that really touched me is, are you on fire? And are you helping others to be on fire? Thank you.
I'm not ready.
Well, you better be ready, Marvell. You're up.
I'm Marvell I'm trying to figure out what I'm going to take with me from this, because usually what I do is I get a lot of information and I incorporate that into what I do in my teaching and in my consulting. So I'm processing right now to see what I'm going to take with me.
Okay.
Cheryl Wolf, the Posidyne Group, Sea Change Career Services. Probably my big takeaway. 3 months to live or whatever, a short period. What are we wasting? What are we not doing? the sense of urgency. Well done. Thank you.
I'm Linda, and I will take away to be engaged in all my interactions with people.
I'm Ashley, Champion Carpet. Really just the importance of knowing your employees and who they are, not just seeing them as employees, but as people.
Apologize about the tardiness. My name is Anthony Diaz. I'm with Holt Moving, and the biggest thing for me is engaging employees and making sure that we're passionate about the same thing and going in the same direction. So,
I'm Brandon Pfeiffer, Simons Volkswagen. I'm going to take away what are my team members motivated by and how to motivate them.
David Daniels, could be working for you, not employed right now. And the biggest thing for me is the 3 months to live. You know, I've thought about things like that before, but I think it always helps to kind of recap and revisit it, you know, every 6 months or so. So that's my biggest takeaway.
I'm Don Graham, owner and CEO of Say Pro Garden. I'm honored that Christine's on our team. And I guess my biggest takeaway is vulnerability. I think I need to be more active with our people and see what their needs are.
Brenda Chabot, Champion Carpet and Upholstery Care. I think just getting my goals in line. I'm definitely not engaging with the employees the way she does, and just getting everybody in line with where they want to be and what motivates them.
All right, and I forgot to put my thing out there, but I'm going to try to be more vulnerable and share more personal information with all those that I work with so that they're comfortable sharing that with me as well. So with that, we're going to sign off from Facebook. So thank you all for joining. Everybody in the room, feel free to go back and